A second. Oops. Let's see. Select. No, that's swing.
Oh!
Oh, wait a minute.
All right.
It's,
We save that for our next get. Now, do you know how to get that back or not?
yeah.
You do? Okay.
See, there's these presets
right.
like there's 16 beat.
Okay, the next guest that comes in, that fanfare thing.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
That'll be
Sure.
good for the next guest. You know.
That was. I think that was.
Let me introduce the next thing. I think
it was samba. No,
Yeah.
it's kind of circusy.
Right. You got a good waltz on there. I'm sure you've got a good waltz on there.
Yeah.
Do you know who I think the greatest contemporary waltz composers are?
Who?
Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd has written some of the greatest. I don't know if you know that or not, but if you listen to Pink Floyd and you're really listening to some really psychedelic stuff, yeah, if you'll count it
the
off.
earlier ones, the earlier albums, Amagama,
and you're listening to the stuff and you're like 1,000 miles away and you just start counting it off and you're like, oh my God, it's a waltz.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
They did their earlier albums. You know, it's another thing. Exposure to music. It's unfortunate people.
Are you joining us? Come in.
Come on.
Yeah. Grab a lab coat if you like.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
another guest.
Okay.
I'll be back momentarily.
Introduce her.
Us something.
Ta-da!
Cookie? Chocolate chip.
Ta-da! It's enough.
I didn't want to cut it in halfway, but yeah, maybe 3 times is enough.
Yeah. Next time, slide it over right at the microphone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
so
it'll just blare.
Is that
everything.
okay in your ears? That's really
yeah.
close. Okay.
Oh, it's time. Get ready.
Okay.
We have another guest coming in. Move the teapot. Get the speaker right at the microphone.
All right. And what was that? Was that samba?
Come in and join us. Just make
I think
yourself.
it was. Yeah, swing.
This is your introduction. Ta-da! Now look at the camera and smile and give a big ta-da! Wow!
Brownies. I make cookies
Wow!
too. Oh.
Wow!
Yeah.
Well, we can
I
just
bet they are
compete.
good. I bet they
No,
are
we can
good.
share.
Oh, right. Oh, I bet they are good.
Oh yeah.
And you see we're using your teapot today.
Oh, very good.
Will you have a cup of tea out of your own teapot? I don't know
Yes,
if we have
please.
if
What kind of tea do we have here?
that is a combination of black tea and rock tea.
Do you have a mug? Is that-
I don't know. It'll need to be rinsed out. Could
Yeah,
you
I'll
rinse it and clean it out? Because I don't know.
Want a brown?
I'm
I
sure.
do.
And here's a plate if you want, and I've got some napkins in my lap.
And as you know,
Okay, this fancy
I'm a little short on teacups. Oh, this one. Oh, thank you. Well,
Yeah, I've
have
got the end of my guerrilla video class tonight, so,
Here you go.
the end of what?
huh?
Your gorilla video test. Oh, you have a test.
No,
Oh,
class.
class.
Thank you so much. Did you get one? Okay.
Oh, wow. And napkins, yeah.
Complete acoustic indulgence.
Now grab the Casio off the table.
Oh yeah.
Make some room for the brownies and what have you.
Yeah. What's more important?
We have just so much.
Is there rum in here?
We have a limited amount of space.
Huh?
Is there rum in here?
There's Grand Marnier in the icing.
Beautiful. Grand Marnier.
Grand Marnier
Orange
in the
liqueur?
icing.
Mm-mm-mm.
In the ganache.
So what kind of recipe
ganache
is
as well.
this?
This is Ghirardelli double chocolate brownie mix, which you can't really mix up homemade better than that. And then the icing is Grand Marnier that I reduce, took off the alcohol, 2 or 3 tablespoons of heavy cream, and 4 handful scoops of bittersweet chocolate and chips that you bring the cream to a boil, and you know the Grand Marnier is already boiled down. You add those scoops of chocolate to the liquid and let it sit for about 5 minutes, and stir it up, and then spread it on.
Oh, it works really well. And then you put a pecan on it.
Now put some pecans on the top.
See, this is like a vacation in itself.
Isn't it?
Ralph knows my brownie, so I know I had to bring some of the last class for the Gorilla Video class.
Oh, so were you bringing this for the tea party or for the class?
Well, and yeah, I'd have extra. So
A little bit for
I
both.
knew, yeah, because my class hasn't started over there yet. Because there's only 3 people in the class over there, so you know.
I'm telling people I'm getting ready to teach the studio certification, and so I'm telling people to call up, or I think they say if you want to sign up for a class, bring your money and come down here, right? And then what they say, whatever it
What
is.
does the studio certification do for you?
Well, it makes you studio certified.
Well, what good does that do me?
Well, if you want to go into the studio and use the studio cameras and produce a show out of the studio, you need to be certified to use that gear. Just like you have to get certified on the field gear in order to check the field gear out. If you want to check the studio out, so to speak, and use it, you need to be certified on how to operate it. Right.
We need a class on our cameras, on the PDXs.
We have that.
Not just the gear
Field
class.
gear.
The field gear was not
Enough.
concise
Wasn't
enough.
sufficient.
It's
at
not
all.
enough. I know, and that's what I'm finding out too. See, I sat through. I
have returned.
sat through 2 sessions of the studio certification before I took over
not
teaching
enough.
it, and it's just not enough.
Oh, it
That-
just tells you how to mount it on a tripod. Pass me the spoon, please.
Okay. There's another one in here somewhere.
Is there?
We got 2 here today. I know I got
jokingly
2 in the
referred
box. How
I
many-
jokingly refer to studio certification as being showed not how to break things.
And
Now-
I have another friend, John, and John
You take them
says
home and you experiment.
that studio certification it's a 2-hour class. He said the first hour is like this is very expensive. Oh, please do not break this. Be very careful with
Cable
this.
wrapping. Cable wrapping. Very
But the thing
important.
is,
Still haven't
I-
got that down.
Yeah, cable
I'm
wrapping.
still horrible at wrapping cables. Ironically, I can't do it.
I will say that the studio certification that I have observed that cable wrapping was somewhere between 50 to 75% of what
I still can't wrap
you know,
cables.
and I have even adopted. And I've been working in studios for most of my life, and I have my own kind of way that I wrap cables, and I have now adopted the over
Over and
under.
under.
Yeah, now that I've been told to do that, I've got to.
Have you started doing? Do you your garden hose that way in your extension cord?
Yes.
It carries over into any
Yes.
cord you touch
Yes,
after that.
you can feel
It's
like
good.
it's biting you, or if it's
Well, it's
going
good
together
practice,
wrong.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. So
Kind of like knitting or something, you know.
Wow.
yeah, I'm gonna try to do. Isn't it? They're decent, aren't they?
Excellent.
Good tea, good brownies, good cookies too. He
Thank
bought-
you.
All good things. So
Wow, I
we're-
can like all these cookies and now some of these brownies. I can really feel the sugar just hitting my system.
We're coming.
Wonderful thing.
The party's coming right along today.
It always does, like towards the end, though. And here we are.
And here we are.
We've got 23 minutes.
All right, it's time to
Wow.
get crazy. Start talking about crazy stuff now.
Like
Let it
erotic hypnosis.
Erotic hypnosis. That's next Wednesday. That's
Hopefully.
next
Next
Wednesday.
Monday, 4 to 6.
4 to 6 next Wednesday is erotic hypnosis. That's right. Everyone is coming in.
Well, in that case,
So-
I will tell
Come
Melanie
to
that
be
she's
hypnotized.
expected.
Now, is it like anyone
On
who
a- on a
watches
good
TV,
day.
anyone who watches the show, will they be subjected to hypnosis also?
I used to.
Because that's pretty powerful.
I'll tell you the truth. I used to live in a house. I had myself and I had 2 roommates, and I lived with a ninja and a witch. And on Halloween,
This sounds like a sitcom almost.
that's true though. It's true. And they know who they are. And so I lived with a ninja and a witch, and I was the mad scientist. And on Halloween, small children come to the door dressed as us. And then I forget now what it was. I was going to tell some story. Oh, some story on the witch. Somebody was. I think one of the local Baptists or something was really coming down on the witch about things, and she says what do you do at these meetings, you know, that y'all have outside and all do? Is it true that you dance around the campfire and have sex with the devil, you know, and stuff like that? And she says, on a good night.
I don't know what to come back with. That.
They're like,
So a ninja witch and a mad scientist walk into a bar.
walk into the bar and chaos reigns, you know, and that's the way it works.
So how can you tell if a hippie's been on your couch?
They're still there.
Yeah, you've heard this one.
Why? Do you know why all the hippies moved to Asheville?
Why did they? I've been wondering.
Do you,
that.
does, have
I
you've
do.
been you
'Cause they
you know
said
why?
I heard there's no jobs here.
Yeah, I heard there's no work here. That's right. Very good.
Because they said in the Rolling Stone that this was a great place
For hippies?
for alternate lifestyles or something.
Well, let me see. How long have you been in Asheville?
Since '89.
That's a
And I moved here from New Orleans.
That's
Wow.
a long time. And you moved
Yeah.
here straight from New Orleans to Asheville.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the mountains called me.
Yeah. What did you do in New Orleans? What?
I was an artist.
Okay. Did you know we've had a lot of
I got a divorce and I decided I'm going to make my living out of my own creativity. It's a whole new adventure. Why not? You
Well,
know, what
as-
have you got to lose? So I did.
As you know, we've had a lot of people move here from New Orleans. And I mean before Katrina, we had and you've probably met a lot of them.
Well, it's the heat. The
Well.
heat in New Orleans drives you to
And-
cooler areas.
I know. Live in New Orleans and then they come up and spend one weekend in Asheville, and they can't wait to get back.
I was like drawn here because I had a little business in the French Quarter.
Oh, what was your bill? Tell me.
It's
It's an art shop.
Well, we had like these whole areas where people could have like little small areas to sell to the tourists.
Right. Oh,
So- I sold stuff that I made, and then I sold other local artisans.
in a little
things
in a little shop.
In a little shop.
I see. Okay.
And when I would be closing the sale, you know, you chit chat with people, and they want to buy, and they buy, and then you're closing the sale, and you chit chat with them after, and ask them like, oh, what are you doing here? Where are you from? And when people would say they were from the mountains in North Carolina, I would just be pea green with envy. And so I think when you have a strong emotional response to something,
You have to
that
act
you should act on it. And so I came up here
And it worked out.
in '88, and when I got off the plane and got in the rental car and driving into Asheville, I was like, I've got to move here.
Oh God!
Yeah,
Another one's got to move
like you're
here.
supposed to be
And
here.
so I went back and I put someone else in charge of the business, and came back in December and found a place to buy.
Now, did you own the business?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I came back, and
Right.
that didn't work out because you have to be there.
I was going to say, did they send?
that
Would they send the money or not?
Someone had said to me once, well, you're so lucky because with what you do, you can live anywhere you want. And it took several years for that to sink into my head what that meant. It was, you know. And I realized, you know, I could go live anywhere because I could wholesale. I've always been able to wholesale my work. So I had several mail order catalog accounts. So that did mean that I could be anywhere. Anywhere UPS was picking up, I could.
So you
I
don't
could
have to
send
meet
out.
the public to sell your work.
No.
Right, and you don't have to be locked into one space.
No.
UPS runs everywhere.
Exactly. And so I came back in December of that year and started looking for a house and found this house. And in February, I rented a U-Haul truck, a big U-Haul truck, and put my car in the back of it and drove a 15-foot truck up here and moved in. And I've been here ever since, and I love it.
All right. Well,
Do you go visit? Have you been down
Oh,
back there to visit a lot?
I went in January to help my girlfriend put in wood floors in her house because she couldn't get anybody to do it. And so we put in these wonderful oak floors. She and I did.
Yeah.
We got it straight and we don't have any gaps in the floor. And it looks fabulous.
Wow.
So that's what we did. Yeah, I go back quite often.
I have friends who sell art in Jackson Square.
Yeah.
They display right up on the fence in
And
Jackson
that's
Square.
so wonderful. That's a city where you can do that.
Yeah.
And
Right. Well,
you
they
know,
moved
it's
from
always-
here
to
to
do
there
that.
to do that. You know, and you understand completely why someone would move from Asheville to
And back
New
and
Orleans.
forth.
Back and forth, exactly. There's there's particularly in the art community, there's like strong ties between New Orleans and Asheville, and our artists and our artisans run back and forth, you know, and go. They're from here, they live there, or they're from there, they live here. That's very often the case. Yeah, and some of my best friends are in that circle. You know.
Yeah.
So we get down every now and then to visit. You know, have a good time.
Well, it just broke my heart what happened with Katrina, and
I know.
it's really changed. It's like the Civil War happened down there. You know,
Right.
it's really devastating.
Right. It's like what survived the Civil War didn't survive Katrina.
No,
Yeah.
what survives the Civil War was never affected by Katrina because that was built on the high ground in New Orleans. And then what didn't
Esplanade
survive...
Ridge was spared.
Well,
and,
see, you have
and a lot of the French Quarter.
what you have is called the alluvial plain.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the river, through the eons, built up
A bank there.
the banks, raised it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the areas that flooded 50 to 75 years ago, that was all swamp.
Right.
And that was like where people didn't go.
Right.
It's where you got yellow fever if you went out there. And then as the population grew in New Orleans, they did this landfill and they filled these
reclaimed it.
things
They put the
in.
dikes up and they drained the swamps.
And,
They
well,
pumped
the
the
low
water.
areas of the city were the most recently inhabited, and of course those are the areas that flooded. But you know, there are people who believe that New Orleans, that those areas were deliberately flooded.
I know that.
I've heard that.
I know that there are people who believe that. And you know what I believe? I believe that those areas were not deliberately flooded, but I think that they were deliberately not saved. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, they have precedent because in that big flood of 27, the one where Randy Newman wrote the song about Louisiana that trying to wash us away. Well, that was a huge flood coming down, and they did the powers that be in New Orleans, and there was a big plutocracy in New Orleans at the time, decided that they were going to blow out the levee south of New Orleans to take the pressure off, and they flooded Plaquemines Parish instead of having New Orleans catch the flood. So there's precedent for people to believe that somebody would actually...
Those
kind of
decisions,
things have happened before.
Those kind of decisions have been made.
Yeah, but it looks to me like it was
and
really...
I believe that those kind of decisions have been made on various aspects of what all went on.
Well, what happened with the river is through the past 150 years is the river had natural runoff areas that would happen
supposed to be
whenever.
built up. That whole
Leaving
delta's
us?
supposed to be there.
Well,
Okay.
it had whole areas
Bye.
like all the way down
Sneaking out.
that were natural runoff or natural spill
You got
areas
your-
when it got high.
You got your intro?
Nah,
Music? Here, give him the intro.
Okay. Select
Thank you.
samba.
Come back. Sorry, we didn't
So
want
we're
you
gonna
to
have it. Everybody's gonna have it.
That's not it. That's not the intro music.
Select.
Hey, man.
How you doing?
Bossa. Nope.
That's good though. I like that. You know, we'll use that. We'll use that. Here's your intro music.
Dr. Dick.
Dr. Dick is here. Here's his intro music. Ta-da! Okay.
Welcome.
Well, I see you're back.
Hi,
All
there's
right.
wonderful brownies.
Well, thank
Got
you.
brownies.
tea, I
We've
think
got
there's
some
tea
tea.
left. And
Uh-oh, somebody
cookie left.
somebody
I don't want
rinse
any
him.
tea. I don't want any tea. That's fine. Thank you, Dr. John.
there's some
Last cookie?
chocolate there too.
How are things out at the Space Lab?
The Space Mountain is highly in gear. Would you believe we had an interview this week with a student at North Buncombe that's he has decided he has a new religion and he needs to dress up as a parrot
Okay.
and go to school. I don't know. Did you guys get to read that in the newspaper?
Parrot or pie or
Parrot.
pi-
Parrot. I'm sorry.
Parrot.
No.
A what?
A
Parrot.
pirate.
Parrot.
A
That's
pirate.
it.
Pirate.
I understand
Like Johnny
that.
Yeah.
I
For
understand.
religious purposes.
For religious purposes. He says
Right.
there's some kind of spaghetti religion.
Yeah,
So we're looking into that.
No, there's a whole pirate thing that's
Pasta-
going. The
pasta
pirate thing
pirates,
is
two Ps.
it's national too. It's not just Asheville. There's a whole pirate thing.
So
that's
that
gonna
is
be going on.
legitimate, or
There's
at
a
least
whole-
I've
a
heard
good
of
base.
I've heard of the religion where they pray to the spaghetti monster. I have heard
Yeah,
of this
as a
before.
matter of fact, he
yes.
mentioned that in the newspaper.
Yes,
Spaghetti
I
monster.
have heard of this before.
Did you guys
So-
hear about that new pirate movie?
Which one?
It's rated R.
All right.
Oh, I'm still in pain.
We're gonna have to from now on. You're no longer allowed to deliver such lines without coming on camera.
So anyway, to finish that up,
Right.
they through the past 150 years, they did levees and blocked where the river used to naturally spill off, where
Right.
you have the whole delta with that rich soil because of that.
You've been good. I've watched
And so now that
almost
causes
every
like
day
just when
in
you do a
between
hose, when you go like
doing stuff.
Oh, good.
you got an entirely
Glad we have
different
at least
dynamics
one
of
confirmed regular viewer.
Dynamics with the river.
There's more.
Right.
There's more.
Yeah. Good. I'm
Did
glad
you
to
make
hear.
those?
Absolutely.
That was
Oh,
the
if you
whole,
made them, I have to try
The
You
them.
whole
do.
movement of breaking down
Oh,
dams
yeah.
too in a lot of major rivers because
Can I
we've
have
seen
you
it's
know,
not
you-
productive.
Can I have another one?
Y'all can have
One
this
bite,
piece of
you
coffee,
feel the
but I'm
sugar
not
hitting your
taking
system.
one.
Thank you.
I'll eat it.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Blackwell, today is the second week this has been on public access, because I
Right.
noticed we're trying to stay away from URTV. We're on
Okay.
public access. So what's your thoughts as far as the ending of the second week? How do you think it's going?
Oh, to my knowledge, we haven't been sued yet.
Why
That's
aren't we
always-
trying to use? Why are we using public access?
Why?
Why?
Because
Why are
I
we getting away from URTV?
because I even see URTV as
Oh,
As a-
chocolate.
as another obstacle that you have to get around. You see what I mean? I really want to emphasize. I even don't want to say public access. I want to say access.
Free
This is
TV.
Free TV.
right. This is the doorway. You know, this is the access. You know, this is public access. This is your access.
It says your TV. You can come right down here, have some brownies and
Have
some
some
tea,
cookies and tea and
and tell the world what you think.
Yeah, just don't say naughty words.
Just don't say some
you
of the
can
bad
hiss. We
words.
found out, but that's okay.
Yeah, hissing is fine.
Hiss is fine.
And booing.
And puppy dogs are allowed. But
Oh, yeah,
but no.
puppy dogs are definitely allowed. Puppy dogs
That
are
was
vitally
a
confirmed.
great guess.
Let me
That
try some of
was a
this one.
surprise wonder. Yeah.
Let me
What
try
do you
some of this tea.
Today I'm actually sitting in on Ralph's gorilla vid with you. And
Well, we won't be having much of that. Well, did a whole pot of water get in that?
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Then it's an
And,
8-cupper.
has anybody, Dr. John, mentioned
Well, that's it.
about submitting acquired programming? Is that
What,
something?
acquired program?
Acquired program?
There is such a thing, and some people do that. I hear of that. I don't do it myself.
Yeah,
But
I was just curious if you ever spoke to the folks. Maybe that's something you can talk about later on.
we can talk about it now.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't,
well,
I don't,
we're running out of time.
I don't
You
know
can
much about it.
sponsor anybody like
few
people
minutes.
from the
Yes.
outside
Yeah, I
world,
think we have a few minutes.
You
non-Ashevilleans
can sponsor
that
yeah.
want to have their stuff shown here. Anybody can say like, "Well, I'll sponsor that program for you,"
Well, I
and
was,
you just have to be from
yeah,
here.
I was just going to bring up. I submitted just a while ago a 28-minute program called the Army News Watch, and it's produced by the U.S. Army. And basically, it's their views of what's actually going on in the military as far as the Army is concerned. And they talk a little bit about the war, but it mostly focuses in on the members of the force. And I thought that was a very good program, so I acquired that by making contact with some folks in Washington, D.C., and so therefore it's going to be showed on URTV. I think the acquired program, though, for the most part, they don't show it as often as locally produced, but it can be shown.
Yeah, I
When
know
is it
that. I
gonna
know
be
that.
coming
You
on? Do you
edited
know
it
yet?
all?
I don't know yet.
I know that
Okay.
locally produced programming takes
Takes
preference.
preferences, yes.
Takes preference,
And it should
be.
And it should
Yeah,
be.
I
Yeah,
absolutely agree.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we,
Right.
Oh, I like the way you put your logo on the mic.
We're using a new mic today. This is a different. This is.
Not the creamy.
Well, I don't know. We were using the mic. It was working a minute ago. Yeah.
Well, yesterday you talked a lot about mics.
Hello. It's not. It's. I don't know if I have a bad wire there. I think I have a bad wire. I hope I haven't blown my preamp, but anyway. I seem to have a bad wire. Yeah. Hello? Ah, we're back on. I think I have a wiggly wire.
You've got to go in there and resolder it together or something.
Perhaps. Or see, that's another thing. This being the mad scientist tea party, I've decided that like if we have a little, maybe some sparks. Well, were you here when we had sparks flying at one point?
Really?
Yeah, out of this machine. Anyway, the first day I think I got some good sparks. But yeah, so if we've got little ants and glitches and bad wires and stuff like that, I have a tendency not to fix them and let them be part of
The show.
the mad. Yeah.
Fire hazards are encouraged.
So are these are these props?
No, I brought
That's
some.
a camera.
That's a camera. It's a Bel Air, and we were talking about the different formats in video recording and historically for
That's
That's
8
for
millimeter.
audio also.
It's 8mm, right?
Yeah.
8mm
I like for my
cartridge.
chocolate to
But
be really
that, you know,
chocolatey.
That is
It's funny
chocolate.
because
I'm telling you,
Good.
I'm gonna have a rush tonight.
You know, I consider because this time I'm hand holding
watch
and I'm
Ralph will
shooting
eat
videos,
3 or
and
4
then that
of
was
these.
Steve
Oh,
can
he'll
do
be
it
on
at that
fire
time.
wanting.
He'll
Yeah,
be-
he probably
It
will.
looked
He
like a
probably
Sony
will. Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
You know, I'm always fascinated with that. I try and pick them up where I had a collection and I lost it in the flood. I had it in storage when I moved here, and whatever I didn't move at that time to my apartment got lost. I mean, it wasn't expensive collection, but it was all different types of
Yeah.
cameras that I had from various garage sales and so forth. You know, and I lost them. So I pick them up wherever I can. That one was my dad's.
Oh.
He was like, "Do you want it? I'm gonna get rid of it." I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll take it." You know?
Hey, before we,
Just cause it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, before we end, did you guys hear about? Before we end here in a couple of minutes, did you guys hear about Circuit City laying off a bunch of employees?
Is it a joke?
No, it's actually
but
real.
Circuit City?
Circuit City laid off some folks.
Why?
Is this nationally or
Nationally,
Okay,
nationally.
tell us about it.
There was well, here locally, I think there were 12 individuals that lost their job at Circuit City, and they were folks that they identified as making too much money, basically. And in
Right.
particular, yes,
What do you mean making too much money?
$12, $13 an hour, making too much
In
money.
other words, something that somebody can actually have a
Were
chance
they,
to
were
live
they
off of.
long-term employees?
Oh yeah, one girl, and I just want to say this real quick because I know we're running out of a
Dedicated.
minute. One girl, 13 years, lived in Rims Creek area, Weaverville, and I read it in the paper, and I just want to share it real quick. She was a single mother, and they let her go, and they told her she could reapply in 6 weeks
For minimum wage.
for minimum wage. It was replaced, and that's I think that
You
Circuit
can't
City
change- you
that
can't
is
change
a
your
very.
policy like that.
I mean, any job now is subject to do that. Imagine.
Right.
Unless you have a trade, and that's acquired knowledge. What she did, evidently, she sold stuff in the store, but she was paid $13 an hour. I just think that's a shame, and I wanted to add that in the Mad Scientist Tea Hour.
Yeah, as far
you
as I'm concerned, this thing is dead again.
But I just thought that was real
That's-
pathetic on Circuit City,
That is very pathetic on their part.
and I'm hoping to interview the mother, and the daughter cannot say anything because she signed some kind of clause.
It's still
The
dead.
mother's the only
She
one.
signed a clause when she went to
Something-
work for them or something.
Evidently.
And so we were firing you, and legally
can't talk
you can't
about it.
talk about it.
You can't
despite
talk
every
about